Hello and welcome back. This is the third video of our series where we are going to build this full stack Facebook clone. In this video, we are going to start building the backend of our app. So let's go to VS Code. Okay, so quick talk before we start. If you ever get stuck or need help with the projects, you can book a study session with me on Fiverr, link in the description. Otherwise, you can join my Discord where you can find a community of people just like you. Okay, back to coding. Okay, so since we finished with the front end, now we're gonna connect Next.js to our Next.js app and then create a Firebase account and connect Firebase with our Facebook app as well. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to go to Next.js. Let me put this window here. I'm gonna go to the first page and here we have the Next.js. Next.js. So let's start and let's install Next.js. With this we are going to connect to we're going to be able to log in with our Google account. So I'm gonna say cd Facebook, then I'm gonna install the package of Next.js, and then let's continue and follow the instructions. I could have just typed it manually, but I like to show you where I get this info from. So this is the documentation page of Next.js. So as you can see here, we have to create a Next.js file inside pages/API/auth. So pages/API, and then here we are going to create a folder called auth. Inside this auth, I'm going to have a file called next.js. Now let's copy this and we're going to paste this inside our next.js. So I'm gonna close the sidebar and this and save. Now we are going to need a couple more things, but first let's continue and see what else we have to do. As you can see, from Next.js is going to handle the sign-in function, the callbacks, and the sign-out, etc. Now, what else we have to do? We have to go to app.js, so app.jsx, and we have to wrap our component between this session provider, so we can use the session coming from Google after we log in. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is to copy this and let's import session provider from Next.js. Then the next thing to do, let's make this look better. So I'm gonna copy this, export default, and I'm gonna paste it right here. So it's one line of code in that we deleted. The next thing to do is to destructure the page props. So instead of just page props, we are gonna have the session that it's inside page props and then the rest of the attributes of the page props. So I'm gonna paste it right here and save. Now we've destructured this. The next thing to do is to wrap our component between the session provider tag. So I'm gonna say paste, and now let's put this component inside the session provider tag. Let's save this. And now you have instructions on how to use this session. So as I've said, this is gonna be used. For example, I'm gonna start the server, so I'm gonna say cd Facebook, okay, npm run dev. Let's go to localhost 3000, and we are gonna use this session. For example, when we click on this profile picture, we want to go to the sign-in page so we can log in. So this is where we're gonna use the sign-in function. So in the header we're gonna use it. So when we click, we want to use the function sign-in. So let's continue. Now let's go to Firebase. So I'm gonna go to Firebase. Now you're gonna have the same page as me. You'll have to make this full, go to console. Then let's create a project, a Firebase project. I'm gonna call this Facebook for YouTube. You can name this everything you want. I don't want the Google Analytics, and now let's wait for the app to install. Now that we have the app installed, let's click continue. And now let's connect Firebase to our app. You'll have the same page, you'll have the same screen as me, but if you don't have, you can go to settings, project settings, and just click on this icon. But we're gonna go to the home page, and we'll click on this because it's on the front page. So I'm gonna create a new app. I'll call this Facebook for YouTube. Let's register the app. Let's wait a little bit. Now we get this command line, so I'm gonna copy and install Firebase to our project. I'm gonna create another, I'm gonna split the terminal, and then here with this, and then I'm gonna say cd. I'm gonna say cd Facebook because we want to install it in the Facebook folder. And let's install Firebase. Let's wait for this to install a little bit more, and then we are gonna copy this Firebase login info, so the keys, the domain, the project ID, etc. Now that Firebase is installed here, I'm gonna go and create a Firebase file. So at the level of, for example, Next.config, I'm gonna create a file called Firebase.js, and inside I'm gonna paste our info, so our keys, our private keys. I'm gonna say continue to console, and let's save this first. Now inside our Firebase file, we can add some for example, we can add we can check first if we have multiple instances of Firebase running. So to verify this, I'm gonna say get apps dot length, and then this is gonna be a ternary, and I'm gonna have initialize app Firebase config, okay, and then if not, I'm gonna say get app and save. For now this is all we need, but to save some time, I'm gonna add two more things, because in this Firebase from Firebase we are gonna need two more things, the database and the storage. So I'm gonna say const db from database. So I'm doing this now so we don't have to do it later. So I'm saying get Firestore, and this is a function that comes from, let's import the function, import get Firestore between brackets from Firebase / Firestore. Now this is going to be the database. The next thing to import is const storage, and this is a function called get storage, and save. Now let's import the storage, import get storage from Firebase / storage. Let's save this and let's make sure they're connected. Okay, and this one. Okay, now last thing to do for this Firebase file, I'm gonna say export. I'm gonna export everything, so I'm gonna say export app, the database, and the storage. Save this, and now we're not gonna touch this Firebase file for the rest of the video. Okay, this is all we needed to do. Now next thing to do is to go to authentication in Firebase, and let's create we're gonna get from this authentication the the login info for our Google. Okay, so the credentials from Google. I'm gonna click on Google, I'm gonna enable this, and here I'm gonna choose my email and save. let's wait for this to load. Perfect. Now if we click edit configuration, we go to web SDK, we have this ID, so this is the credentials that we need. Well, where are we going to use this? First, we're gonna go to Next.js and let's see something. If you go to Auth, now in Next.js, we can see from the example that we get from Next.js, we had an example with GitHub. So if you want to log in with your GitHub account, you can use this example, but we're going to use a Google example because we want to log in with Google. So I'm going to duplicate this. Oops, my bad. I'm going to say duplicate our page, and let's search the Google example. So I'm going to say Google and enter. Now the Google example looks like this. Import Google provider, so let's import the Google instead of GitHub. Now the next thing to do, Google provider, let's copy this and paste it right here. So Google provider, and the client ID and the client secret. Those two are, we're gonna take them from Firebase. So this one is the client ID and this one is the client secret, okay? So let me copy this. And instead of the GitHub ones, I'm gonna paste the Google one. Let's save this. And as you can see here, we are getting this Google client ID and Google client secret from process.env. So we have to create this file. .env stands for environment variables. So I'm gonna create at the level of Firebase another file called .env.local. So this is not going to be posted on productions or on GitHub. So if I go back to Next.js, I'm gonna copy the Google client ID, and inside that env.local, I'll say it's equal with, and let's take our web client ID. I'm gonna paste it like this. Now after this YouTube video is done, I'm gonna delete this Firebase project because I'm gonna get spammed on the database. So yeah, I'm gonna delete this project after the video is done. Now let's go to Next.js again and copy this Google client secret and go to Firebase, go to env.local, click equal, and now let's copy the web client secret and paste it in our app. Now in production, when we're gonna deploy this project to Vercel, we are going to need another thing. So we don't get an error later. I'm gonna do this now. So if we go, we're gonna need a Next.js secret. So this tells you not providing any secret will throw an error in production. So let's do it now so we don't have an error later. I'm gonna say Next.js secret, and here you can type anything you want. So I'm gonna say make sure I'm gonna keep this as only letters and numbers. Okay, this should be enough. Save this, and now let's close the environment.local. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And now in Next.js, we can do some things. Now, what we're gonna need when we'll get the sign in function, we're gonna need a page, a custom page. We're gonna create a custom sign in page. So let's say pages, and then here we are gonna mention where the sign in function should redirect us when we click on the sign in function. So I'm gonna say we want it to be on /auth. So we want to get this sign in page from /auth/sign in. Make sure you spell this right, so just as I've spelled it right here. We'll create the page in 2 seconds. Now let's continue and set our callbacks. So I'm gonna say callbacks, and inside this I'm gonna say async session, and inside this session I'm gonna say we want the session, the token, and we could add the user as well, but we won't probably use it. So I'm gonna say session dot user dot UID is gonna be equal with token dot sub. Now the next thing to add, and this is the last thing we have to add, is gonna say return session and save. Okay, now we are done with this next auth file for the rest of the video as well. So I'm gonna say save. This is token, not token. Okay, save, and now we are done with next auth as well. Perfect. Now let's create the sign in page. I'm gonna go to next auth and I'm gonna search for sign in. So sign in page, this one. This is the sign in page, the default one, but we don't want this. We're gonna style it so it looks like the Facebook sign in page with the logo and everything. So we want to create, this is a standard for the Next.js, the sign in page should be at the level of the pages. So here I'm gonna create another folder called Auth. Okay, and inside this Auth I'm gonna have a file called sign in. Okay, I'm gonna call this SignIn.js. This can be a little bit confusing because, as you can see, you have auth and then you have auth here as well, but this is the Next.js recommendation on how to implement the sign-in page. So we specified here, we specified in the next auth, if you remember, where is it? API auth next auth. We specified that we want to take the sign-in page from pages and then /auth /signin. So pages /auth, so this folder, and then /signin. So this one is our page. Now let's configure this page. I'm gonna copy the default one and I'm gonna paste it right here. I'm gonna make this smaller. And here we have the get provider sign in function. Let's save. And now if we go to our app and if we say Control-C to terminate our server, or just close the server from here and then reopen, say cd Facebook and npm run dev. So let's restart our server. Let's refresh this, wait for it to load, and now if we say /auth /sign-in, as you can see, we have this sign-in page. Now it's very basic because we only have this button. This is what it's rendering, and when you click on this, you are redirected to log in with Google. Now this error is good because this is what we should see. So let's fix this. So to fix this, this is because we did not we did not set this URL for Google Cloud. So I'm gonna go to I'm gonna open Microsoft Edge because my Google Cloud works only Microsoft Edge for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I'm gonna open Microsoft Edge and I'm gonna say Google Cloud. So Google Cloud, so I'm gonna click on the first link, and here make sure you are logged in with the correct Google account. I'm gonna go to console, and what we have to do is go to this sidebar and then go to, where is it? First we have to select the project, so make sure you click on here, then you go on all, and then let me see with what Google account. Okay, so it's this one. I was just checking if I'm in the correct Google account. So this one, I'm gonna click on all, then Facebook for YouTube, and then now that we are in the correct project, I'm gonna go to the sidebar, and then I'm going to API and services, and then credentials. Now let's go to Firebase again and click save on this to make sure everything works on Firebase as well. And now in this Google Cloud, I'm gonna click on this. So 0 Auth 2.0 client IDs. This is because we are in a test mode and we have to specify on what links we want our app to function. So we want it on localhost 3000. So let's specify that we want it to be used here. Now, if you can see from this error, this is in Romanian. Let me put it on English. So you cannot connect because project has an invalid request. If you say learn more about this error, no, I don't think it's needed, the details of this error. So if you click on the details of this error, let's copy the redirect URI. So it's going to be http localhost 3000 API /callback/ Google. I'm going to copy this. And first, let's add URL. First is going to be just http/local 3000. And then the second one is going to be the redirected one. So the full one. Okay. Now, let's see if we have a save button. Yes, right here. I'm going to say save. Now let's check if this it's saved. We have localhost 3000 and localhost auth callback. Okay, so click again save, and now we are gonna need to do the same thing when we deploy this to production, because we'll have the Vercel link instead of the localhost, but we'll leave this for later. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna say completed, and let's go back to our localhost 3000. And now if we say /auth /signin, if we click sign in, you can see that we have this choose an account. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my with this one, and we are redirected to the sign in page. This is normal, but if we go to inspect now, and if we click to console, and we want to see, now we have a session. So let's log our session to see what info we get from Google. I'm gonna go to the header, to components, to the header, and I'm gonna import the session right here. So how do you import the session? Well, we have in the instructions, not here, but here. So we have in the instructions, where is it? Here. We have to import the session, use session, and sign in function and sign out. So let's do this. In the header, let's import it and click save. And let's say const data session, use session. Okay, so let's use the session right here. Okay, now we can use it. So where do we want to use this session? Well, first let's just log out the session. So console log session and save. Now let's check this out. If I refresh the page, if I refresh the page, this does not show up, because first let's go to localhost 3000. Okay, so now you can see if you go to localhost 3000 that we get this user from Google, and this user has our email, it has our profile picture here, it has our name and the user ID. Okay, that we set up, this UID we set up in Next.js. So we have this session, so we can use it in our app now. Well, let's do it. So I'm gonna say first, when we go to /auth /signin, and if we click on sign in, and if we log log in with this, it does not redirect us to our main page. So how do we fix this? Well, this is very simple. So in the sign in page, we are going to say we have this button that says sign in provider.id. Only thing we have to do, it's after the ID, just here I'm gonna say comma, and I'm gonna have a curly braces. I'm gonna say callback URL and slash. So this is gonna be our main page. Now if we click sign in with Google and click on this one, we choose our account. Now we are redirected to the main page. This is what we wanted. Perfect. Now this is everything. It's pretty much set up. So let's take the info from our Google account and update it on our page. So we'll start by going to the header, and we already imported this use session. So now let's delete this console log and let's use the session. So I'm gonna go to the right side of the header, and instead of this user, I'm going to have my Google image. So instead of this user, I'm gonna say image. I'm gonna have a normal image component, and here I'm gonna have session dot user dot, and let's check what's the name. It's session dot user dot image, I think. Let me check. So if we log out the session again, I'm gonna say console.log session and save. And if we delete this image, if we delete this really fast, we can see that we have to take the image from session.user.image. Okay, so let's say source equals with session.user.image and save. Now you can see we get this. Now we can say that src, but this is not the problem, because now we're getting the image from Google. So how do we know? Because we don't have the image showing up. Now if we click, we're getting this error from Google. Now for example, oops, my bad. So we're getting this, let's go to localhost 3000 first. Cannot read property user. Oh, it's because we have to question, because sometimes the session it's not defined and the user it's not defined either, and this is how we protect ourselves. So now we get this error. So let's make this big, because we are not getting the image. Because if we go to console and copy this, let me open in the new tab, we can see we have our image. Now the image is not showing up because we are getting rate limited from Google, because we are sending requests, a lot of requests from this unprotected localhost 3000. But in a minute or so, this will solve by itself and we'll have our image. So just give it a little bit of time and this will be fixed. So let's continue. As you can see, we have the image, so everything is okay. Next thing to do, we want to update not just this image, but this one as well, this one as well. And here, instead of login, we want our username from Google. So let's do this. I'm gonna go to the left sidebar. So right here, left sidebar, and where we have login, here instead of the login, let's first we want the username. So let's first get the session. again, to get a session, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna copy this, and at the top I'm gonna paste it, and let's import the session as well. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm going to import it right here. Now we have the session in the left sidebar as well. So let's go to the login. Where is it? Login, right here. And instead of the image of this guy, I'm gonna have an image component, and this is gonna be session.user.image. Let's protect ourselves in case we are not logged in, and save. And voila, we have our user image. Let's refresh this, and we have the image right here as well instead of the guy image. And we don't want this to be login, but we want to be session.user. Is it name or username? Let's check. I'm gonna say inspect, and if we go to console, to the object user, this is gonna be name. So not username, is gonna be user.name. Now let's protect ourselves. So question mark and save, and we have our username. This is wrapping. We don't want this, so to fix this, only one CSS line. It's white space, no wrap, and save. And now this image right here, we have to say shrink 0 because the image just got smaller. I'm gonna say shrink 0, and we have the username and the image showing up. Now we can make this image a little bit smaller. I think it's a little bit too big, so I'm gonna say width 9 and height of 9, and this looks better already. Next thing to update, it's to update this picture. So in the create new post component right here, if we go to the guy image, I think it's this one, we want to say image, and here instead of the guy, I'm gonna have the normal image. So let's import the session. I'm gonna take this line of code, I'm gonna paste it right above the return, and let's import this as well, like this. And now we have the session in the create post as well. I'm gonna say session.user.image, save, and we have the image here as well. Now again, this it may be a little bit too big, so I'm gonna say maybe 13 and 13. Okay, 12. It's bigger because Tailwind does not have the 13 size, so I'm gonna say 12. So 12 looks good. Now what we want to update as well is this story. So instead of the rock, we want our story to show up. So how do we do this? This is a little trick. So I'm gonna go to the stories. Where is it? Stories. And since we have 5 stories, I'm gonna take this one, so the rock, we don't want it here. I'm gonna delete this, and we're gonna have only 4 stories for now. So let's add another story. So I'm gonna copy the layout of one story, and where it ends right here, I'm gonna copy this div, and above the stories, I'm gonna have this new story. So I'm gonna call this my story, and save this. And we have to modify the image, so it's not going to be story.background because we are outside of this stories map. So let me name this stories, celeb stories, so we can see it. Now it's not going to be story.background because we are not mapping through the stories anymore. This is going to be straight the image. So I'm going to say let's check what the image was. So it was the rock, so the rock and the rock 20. This is going to be the rock, and save. and this is gonna be the rock 20, and save. Now let's put this one here because it's the background, so I'm gonna put it here, and this one I'm gonna put it here. Let's save, and here we go. But we don't want the rock story, we want our image. So instead of this, I'm gonna have session dot user dot image. Let's save. Session, it's not defined because have we not imported? No, we did not import the session in the stories. So I'm gonna copy this, paste it. Oops, not there, but here. And I'm gonna import the session, use session as well, and I'm going to paste it here and save. Image with source, let's refresh this. Localhost 3000, local with src must. Okay, so this is this problem comes because we have to say image, a normal component, because we are getting the image from a link that is not authorized. We have to set this in Next.js, so it's simpler just to rename this image. I'm gonna click, I'm gonna refresh this. And where was he? Okay, so here we have the image, so we want it here as well. So I'm gonna copy this. Instead of the rock, I'm gonna have the image and save. This is a normal image, and here we go. We have our story. So if you have a nice profile picture, it will look nicer for you. Now I think this is everything we need for now. So we have this updated here, here, and here, and here in the stories. The next thing to do is to create the functionality that will let us upload a post to Firebase, and then take the post from Firebase, so the posts, because we'll have multiple posts, and display them dynamically here, instead of me coding everything. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. So the first thing to do is to go to Firebase and then go to home, and let's create our Cloud Firestore. I'm gonna click on save, on click this one, Facebook for YouTube. Let me go back a little bit, and let's check if it's okay. Okay, so the Google, it's okay. So let's go back to home and click on our Cloud Firestore. I'm gonna create a database, start in test mode, and let's click on next, enable. Let's wait for this to load. So now that this loaded, let's go to rules. Let's check the rules. These are the rules of the Cloud Firestore. So now, oops, let's refresh this. And now that we have this Cloud Firestore, we can upload our posts into Firestore. So if we go to our app, here we are gonna type the caption of our post. So let's go to create post, and then let's go to this input. Let's find it. So input, what's on your mind here. This input will have the ref, will have a ref that is gonna be caption ref. Now this caption ref will store our caption, so let's create this caption ref. I'm gonna say const caption ref, that it's equal with use ref, and for now it's gonna be null. Use ref is not defined. Let's import use ref from React and save. Now when we are gonna type something inside, we are gonna have we're gonna have the caption stored in our ref. Now let's create function that will let us send the document with the user image, with the user, so the user image, the user username, and the user caption back to the database, so we can retrieve it in our app. Well, how do we do this? We go to above the return and we create a function, and let's say what this is gonna be. This is gonna create a data post, so just the data, not the image as well. We're gonna send only the data of the post, and we are going to add it, so add it to the collection, so the collection in the Firebase. So our data is going to show up right here, so in this collection, start collection. So we don't want to start the collection from here, it will start automatically when we add it from our app. So let's create this function. It's gonna be called const upload post, and it's gonna be equal with this is gonna be an async function, and this function is gonna be an arrow function, and there are some things we have to do. We have to create a const called document ref, so I'm gonna say doc ref, and this is gonna be await, and we're gonna get some helper functions from Firebase. So this is gonna be add doc. This is a function from Firebase that lets us adding documents to the Firebase. We'll import everything later, but let's first let's write this function. So I'm gonna have collection. I'm gonna specify the collection. Again, I'm gonna import collection after. Then I'm gonna have the database. I'm gonna specify the database, and then where do we want to post this document? Well, we want this to be posted in a collection called posts. So I'm gonna say posts, and then we want to say what we want to add. So I'm gonna say we want an object with a profile image. So this profile image is gonna come from the session. So from here, I'm gonna say session, again question mark dot user dot image and comma, and then I'm gonna say we want the username as well, so it's gonna be session dot user dot name, comma. Then we want the caption that we have just here stored in this caption ref. So I'm gonna say caption is gonna be equal with caption ref dot current dot value. So this is where the caption value is stored in. If you want to see why I've said caption ref dot current dot value, well, let's console log the caption, so you see why. Console log caption ref and save. Let's inspect this, and here if I type something in, and if you go to the console, let's refresh this first, and let's type something in. Well, here we have here is the value of the use ref, and here in the current, and in the value we have the text that we typed right here. So that's why we say caption ref, so caption ref dot current, so dot current dot value. Now the next thing to add is to add a timestamp. So the time stamp, this is gonna come from server time stamp, and save. So now that we're done with this, let's import everything. So I'm gonna import the add doc first, and this is gonna come from Firebase /Firestore. So let's say import. We're gonna have the add doc from Firebase /Firestore. Firebase /Firestore and save. Now I'm gonna import the the collection from Firebase /Firestore as well. So the collection here. Then I'm gonna import the database. So the database is gonna come from our file. So from here, from the Firebase file, we specified right here the database from get Firestore. So let's import the DB, the database. I'm gonna say import DB from where is it, Firebase, and save. The next thing to import, let's see, posts session.image. We have to import this server timestamp. So this is gonna come from Firebase /Firestore as well. Make this bigger and save. Now let's see let's see if we have to add something else. So we have the add doc, we have the collection. If you want to get these auto suggestions, you can just type Control and space and you'll get this on Windows. So we have this, we have the database, then session.user.image, we have the session imported already. The caption ref is this one, current.value, we have the server timestamp, and save. We want this upload post to upload to Firebase when we click on this post button. So let's go here and search the post button, this one. When we click on this div or this button, we're gonna say, when you click on this button, I'm gonna say on click, I want the function of what is called upload post to run, and let's save this. Now if you click on if you're gonna add something and click on post and refresh this Firebase, let's see if we get the post. So yes, we get the post with this ID, and here we have no thanks. Here we have the caption that we've added, then we have the profile image, we have the timestamp and the username, so my name, my Google name. Perfect. Now we can take all this info and use it in our post. So instead of this post that we created, we can add the post from Firebase. So let's go to posts. I'm gonna go to posts. Where is it? Posts. And here we are going to create a const that is gonna hold all the here we are gonna hold all the posts from Firebase. So I'm gonna say const posts and set posts. This is gonna be equal with use state, and it's gonna be an empty so let's use state is not defined. Let's import use state and save. Okay, so here we are gonna store all the posts from Firebase. Now I'm going to show you how to get the posts from Firebase. I'm gonna use a use effect. So when this page loads, we are gonna request Firebase for all the posts. I'm gonna say use effect, and we want an arrow function, and let's open the curly braces for the use effect. I'm gonna say const unsubscribe. I'm gonna call this unsubscribe because unsubscribe, and this is gonna be equal with on snapshot. So this on snapshot that comes from Firebase /Firestore, make sure you import this. This on snapshot, if you hover over it, it has a function called unsubscribe, so that's why I've said const unsubscribe. So let's leave it like this on snapshot. It's a helper function from Firebase, and I'm gonna have a query. So so we have the posts in order. Okay, so I'm gonna say query, and then I'm gonna have a collection. I'm gonna specify the collection. Then I'm gonna have the DB. Now I'm my Visual Studio, it's helping me importing this, but make sure you import on snapshot. Where is it? On snapshot from Firebase /Firestore. Then make sure you import query from. Let's import query from Firebase /Firestore. Then collection from where is it? Collection from Firebase /Firestore, and then the DB from Firebase. Now let's continue. So after DB, let's specify that we need the posts, and then we can order by, and again make sure you import this from Firebase /Firestore. Order by timestamp, and then I'm gonna say description. So disc. The next thing we can do in this function, I'm gonna say comma, and then I'm gonna say snapshot, and then I'm gonna have an arrow function, and I'm gonna open curly braces. Here I'm gonna say set posts to snapshot.docs, and let's save this. Effect, it's use effect, and save. Let's import the use effect, and again let's make sure everything is imported, the query as well, the collection, the DB, order by, and snapshot. This snapshot just attaches to Firebase, so this snapshot will check if our Firebase updates. So now my computer is on fire because we forgot to add a dependency on this use effect. So I'm gonna call this DB because we only need the DB from as our dependency. Again, if you don't add this dependency, your PC will go on fire as well. So yeah, make sure you do this. Save this, and yeah, as I've said, the snapshot will make sure we have the posts up to date from the Firebase. I'm gonna click save, and now we should say console log the post, so we see if we have the post. Save. Let's inspect. Go to console. Let's go to console, and let's reload this. Element type invalid, expect a string. Likely forgot. Let's refresh this first. Okay, so the problem was, my bad. The problem was, make sure you have the use state imported, and I just refreshed the website, and the error did not came anymore. So I'm gonna save. This happens sometimes, so don't worry about it. It was a bug. Now console log posts. Now let's check if we refresh this. We're getting this RL, and here we have the metadata. We have the document, and let's see the data, the value, map value, fields, and here is our first post. So this one. DDSA, this is our comment. So now if you say my second post, and if we send this to Firebase, we're gonna get some new arrays, and here we are gonna have the first post and then the second post. The first post is 0 and then the second one is 1. So if you go to Firebase, we have the 2 posts with my second post. Okay, so now that we have all the posts, let's use them, let's render them here. So here I'm gonna say I'm gonna give this post some I'm gonna give this what's called, I'm gonna give this some attributes, but first let's finish our use effect because I forgot. So there's one more line to add. I'm gonna say return after this curly brace and this one. I'm gonna say return arrow function, and let's unsubscribe. That's where I think the error was coming as well. So I'm gonna say save and refresh. Everything should be okay. Okay, that's it. Now let's give some props to this post, because we are gonna use the props inside our post. Okay, so here I'm gonna say we want a key for this, and this is gonna be post. First let's delete this, and first let's map through this post. I'm gonna say curly braces posts dot map, and for each post, so for each post I want a div, so not a div but this post, and save. And now let's add the props. So here I'm gonna say key, it's equal with post dot id, then I'm gonna have an id that it's equal with post dot id as well. I'm gonna have a username, and this username is going to be post, and now we're getting the data in a different format. So I'm gonna say post dot data dot username. The next thing we want to add is user image, that it's equal with, again with this thing. So instead of the username we want the profile image, so profile image. The next thing we want to add is going to be the big image, but we don't have it yet, so I think I'm gonna leave it for later. Next thing we want to add is the caption, and this is gonna be post dot data that caption. And the last thing is the timestamp. Timestamp equals with post dot data dot timestamp, and save. Now you in case you get an error, make sure the path you get it's post.data.username. Again, it's gonna look, you want to console log if the path is correct. So for example, if it's post.data.username, so post.data.username or something like this, but you shouldn't have any problem. Now that we have these props, we can use these props inside our post component. So if we go to the post if we go to the post, and here we can use the values. So I'm gonna have the first one through props. I'm gonna destructure this into the ID, into the username, into the user image, then I'm gonna have the caption, and then I'm going to have the time stamp. Let's save this, and now we're gonna use this in our app, in our post. Instead of the guy image, I'm gonna say, oops, I'm gonna say image. In here, let's add the user image and save. Voila. We want to modify the name, so instead of Joe Doe, we want username. Instead, what's next? So we have the username, the user image, oh, the caption. So where is my brand new card? Is gonna be a caption. My second post. What else do we have to add? So caption, oh, the timestamp, so we can add the we can add the timestamp as well. But for this timestamp to work, we have to install another library. So this is called moment npm. So if you go and search moment npm and click on the first result, you can see you get this page. Let's copy this and let's install npm moment. I'm gonna say cd Facebook. This is a library. This is a library to help us with the timestamp that it's right here. So I'm gonna say npm I moment, and now let's wait for this to install. Now once this it's installed, we want to install another package that is called npm react moment. So let's search for let me close this, and I'm gonna search for npm react moment, and this should be the first result. Now let's copy this npm save moment react moment and install it in our project as well. Now we can basically close this. So now we can use the timestamp in in our post. So once this is installed, I'm gonna go to the post. I'm gonna make this smaller, and where we find the timestamp, where is it? Let me say 3 hours. Okay, so here instead of this, we are gonna have a moment. So let's create this component called moment. So moment, and inside this moment we are gonna have the timestamp. First, let's import this moment. So moment react moment. So here it is, import moment from react moment. Where is it? Here. We're gonna have this moment, and let's say only one thing. I'm gonna say from now and save, and inside I'm gonna say timestamp. So timestamp. This timestamp we are getting from the props. So from here, and then after the timestamp, I'm gonna say question mark dot to date, and this is a function, and we get this 10 minutes ago. Okay, this is 20 minutes ago, and let's add another post and say third post and add this. We get a few seconds ago. So this is working perfectly. Now I think we are done with the info and this because the last thing to add is the image, then the number of the likes, the like and comment functionality. So I think we're done with this. So let's go to the next chapter. Okay, so now let's go to the new post and create, let's let the user choose an image. So I'm gonna go to new post. Where is it? Create post, create new post. And here let's create a use ref for, let me make this bigger. Okay, so let's create a image ref. So I'm gonna say const image ref equals with use ref, and this is gonna be null at first. So I'm gonna create a use state for this image as well. So inside this image ref, we are gonna store the image that the user will choose from their PC. But we want all the images from Firebase, so I'm gonna create a state for all the images. So const, this is gonna be this is gonna be image and set image, and this is gonna be use state. This is gonna be null, and save. Use state, it's not defined. Let's import state, save. Perfect. Now that we set this up, we can go here, for example, we can go to this input field. So what's your mind? Control F and what's on your mind. Okay, so here in this input we're gonna let the user choose its image, but we are gonna do a trick, because we want, when you click on this image, to let the user choose the image. So to do this, we're gonna go to the photo/video, and when we click this div, so on click, we want, so I'm gonna say curly braces equal curly braces, and here we want an arrow function, and in this curly brackets, we want to say, when we click on this div, we actually want to open an invisible input that lets us choose the image. So first let's delete this and leave it like, so we don't get an error. Okay, so let's delete this for 2 seconds. So here I'm gonna create an invisible input that I told you we're gonna use on click. So let's create this input, and this is gonna be type file, and save. And now we get this button, so when we choose, we can we can choose a file from our PC. But again, as I've told you, we want this to be hidden, so I'm gonna say class name, and this should be hidden, and save. This is gonna be a ref, this is gonna have a ref, so I'm gonna say ref equals, and this ref should be image ref. Let's save this, and again, when we click on this div, we want to actually click on this invisible input. So as I've said earlier, I'm gonna say on click, and then curly braces, arrow function, and now image ref dot current dot click. Let's save this, and now when you click anywhere on this, we can choose our image. Perfect. Now when we actually choose one of these images, for example, we want something to happen, so we want to add this image to state. So how do we do this? We say on change equals with add image to state. Let's close this and save. Now let's create this function. So at the top, we are gonna create a function called add image to state. So here I'm gonna say add image to state. Where is it? Create okay. So const add image to state. And what this function is gonna do, this function first has an event, and then arrow function, and then curly braces. I'm gonna create a const reader, and this reader is basically says new file reader, and save. This is a built-in function. And then I'm gonna say if. First, to explain, I'm gonna take this reader. This reader is gonna read our file, and then we are gonna pass this file to the state, but in a different form of data. So I'm gonna say if event dot target dot files of 0. So if we have an image, then we want the reader to read as data URL, and then event dot target dot files of 0. So if we chose an image, if we click here and we chose an image, then after we chose this image, we'll say reader, and we'll read the image as data URL. It's a form of data, and then we'll specify which file to read. Then after the if, I'm gonna say reader dot onload. So when this component mounts, I'm gonna say I'm gonna have a reader event, an arrow function, curly braces, and then we want to set the image to the reader event dot target dot result, and save. So now we set this image to the image that we chose. So let's check if this works. I'm gonna say console log the image. So this again is gonna be in a data URL form. I'm gonna take this one, and this is the image in a data URL form. Okay, well done. Now the next thing to do is to upload this image to Firebase, and then take the image and actually display it on our app. So first let's create a path for this image. So if you go here, I'm gonna comment this, add the image to state, and then first let's create the address where we want this image to be uploaded. So I'm gonna say path for the image, const image path. It's a normal const, and I'm gonna say ref storage. So this again, there are functions, helper functions from Firebase. Make sure you import them. So storage, this comes from Firebase as well. And then we want to say where we want this image to be uploaded. So I'm gonna say I want this to be uploaded to the post slash, and then let's specify the document ID. So doc ref dot ID. Again, if you are not sure about all this syntax, you can find this on Firebase documentation website if you want to understand this in more depth. But I'm gonna continue and say slash image. So this is the path for the image. So let me import docref as well. So docref document ref should be this one. So let me check. Oh, my bad. This should be inside the upload post. So I'm gonna paste it here and save. So now we have the docref here. Let me check the storage. We have imported the storage, so make sure you import everything. What else? I think this is it for the post, for the address of the post. The next thing is to upload the image to this path. So let's create a function, and this function will upload the image to that address. Then what we want to do is to say then with the snapshot that I've told you earlier, I'm gonna declare the download URL. So we'll upload the image to Firebase, then we'll get a link to download the image from Firebase, and then we are gonna take the downloaded image and use it. Okay, I'm gonna say await. This is an await function. Upload string. Then inside I'm gonna have the image path that we just created. Then I'm gonna say the image that we want, so this one, that it's in state, and the format of the image is data URL, and then I can attach this or say then I want to an async function, so an async. Then I'm gonna say inside the snapshot and an arrow function, curly braces, and here we're gonna create the we're gonna declare the download URL. I'm gonna say const download URL equals await and get download URL, and then for which image, from the image path, and save. Now we have the download URL, so now let's download the image. So I'm gonna say await update doc, and let's specify the doc. Now let's specify the DB, so the database, and then the posts, and then the doc ref.id, and after this let's add the image. So we're gonna update the image with the download URL. Let's save this and let's check if we've imported everything. So upload string we have imported, image path, image, then snapshot, console, download URL, get download URL, make sure you import this. Image path we already have it, update doc imported, doc, let's import the doc. Okay, so not this one, but the doc, where's this one, from Firebase, then the database, docref ID, and this should be it. So now let's try to add a image to the post. I'm gonna say third one, so no, new post 2. Now I'm gonna choose a file. I'm gonna choose this thumbnail, so the thumbnail of the video, and now let's click post, and let's go to Firebase storage, an unknown error occurred, please check the error payload for the server response. This is because if we go to Firebase we don't have permission. So Facebook for YouTube, let me check, let me go to this, and if we go to where is it? Build storage. If we go to storage and we check the rules, you must update your project settings. If we go to the rules, we can see here that we cannot modify the database. So we have, instead of false, we have to say true and publish. And now we should be able to add an image to the Firebase database. Let's try now. I'm gonna say again, let's add an image, Facebook thumbnail, and post. Firebase storage and unknown error occurred again. So let's see in the storage if this worked or not. Okay, so I guess it did not work. If you go to the database, let's see. Okay, so let's go back to the storage and fix this issue. Attach permissions. Okay. Now if we go again and try again, maybe that was the problem. Say again 2, try to add this one and post. Okay, now we don't get any errors. Now let's refresh this and we get this post. So we have the image. So if you click on this image, we can preview this. So this is the thumbnail of the video. Perfect. Now that we have the image, we can actually use it inside our post. So if we go to the posts, and here we can create another props. So if we say the image, if we create this image, I'm gonna say image equals with post dot data dot image and save. Now let's import this image here. I'm gonna say img, and instead of the car image, I'm gonna put it there. So instead of image here, I'm gonna say we don't need that that image component, so we can say instead of this, I'm gonna say normal img tag, and instead of this car, I'm gonna say just image. Let's save this. Let's wait for this to reload, and here we have our image. Now those, they don't have any images because we did not add them. So let's go to Firebase and delete every post and start from 0 because some don't have an image. I'm gonna say posts, delete. Perfect. Now we don't have any post. Now let's add our first post. I'm gonna say first post, add the thumbnail and post. Let's wait a little bit, and the image is uploaded. Now you can see that we have this first post that we don't like. So after we post, we don't want this to show up. So let's fix this. To fix this, I'm gonna I'm gonna add one line of code, and I'm gonna say for the caption ref, where is it? Header in the create post. Here I'm gonna say for this upload post at the end, I'm gonna say caption ref dot current dot value equals with null, and save. Caption ref dot current value equals null. Let's reload this, and if you post, I say second post, and if we add an image, for example, Set this one and post. Okay, so we have this image of a car. Now we don't get the text anymore, so perfect. Well, when we choose for example an image, we want it to be displayed right here so we can preview it. So to do this, after the post button, I'm gonna say after this button, let's see in which div it's at. So here we have the image, we have the caption ref. Okay, perfect. So just outside this div, I'm gonna create another div to show up the preview. So here I'm gonna say if we have an image, so this is gonna be a ternary, we want something to happen. If not, we don't want anything to happen. So inside we want our image to show up. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna create a div. Oops. So inside this div, I'm gonna have an image tag, so img, and as a source I'm gonna have the image. Save. Perfect. Now we want to give this a class name equal with padding 4 because we want some padding around it. Nice. The last thing to do is when we click on this, we want it to disappear. So to do this, I'm gonna go to the div and I'm gonna say on click equals with curly braces, then an arrow function, and we want to set image to nothing. Save. Now when we click on this, it disappeared. So let's say, for example, caption example, let's add an image. So again, this one, when we click it, it disappears. Okay, so yeah, let's for example, let me show you what we want to do. So when we add, for example, this thumbnail and we post, in the time that it's reloading, we want here to say loading. So to do this, I'm gonna create a state for the loading. At the top, I'm gonna say const loading set loading equals with use state, and this is going to be false at first. So it's going to be false at first, but when we click on upload post, we want it to be true. So I'm going to say set loading true. Save, and at the end of this function, I'm going to say set loading to false back again. So now where it says post, it's gonna be a ternary. So I'm gonna say if loading is true, I want this to say loading, but if loading is false, I want this to say post. Let's save this, and now if we say another one, choose this one and post, we have this loading button while it's loading. So after it's loaded, it's we want this image to disappear. So to do this, I'm gonna set the image to null. Right here we have to say set image to nothing. Save. Now if you refresh and let's post again, new post, add this one. After we post, this should disappear. Perfect. Now the functionality, it's pretty much done. I think we have the image, we have the info of the user. What else we can do? Well, we can add the like functionality, the comments functionality, the number of the likes, number of the comments. Oh, and we want some padding at the bottom, as you can see. So padding at the top for each, right here, for each post. So inside the posts, I want to say margin top of 4. Very well. Okay, so as I've said, let's continue with the functionality of the likes, comments, the number of the comments, and so on. Okay, so if we go to the VS Code, and if we go to the post, let's choose post. When we click on this like, this is what we're gonna do first. When we click on this like, we want it to be blue, and to send a document to Firebase that says that this user has liked the post. So let's go to the like button. Let's say Control F, Control M. Okay, so here should be the like button. Let me change this. Okay, so this is the like button. Now when we click on this div, say on click, we want this function to run. So I'm gonna say add or like post. Nice. And now let's create this function. So at the top, I'm gonna say const like post equals like post equals with first I was thinking about what we can name this. I'm gonna say when we click on this, so when clicked once, add like to Firebase, but when we click twice, so when double clicked, we want to delete the like from database. Nice. Okay, so this should be an async function. So arrow function, curly braces, and inside here we're gonna check if the user liked or did not like. So how do we do this? We're gonna create a state for if the user liked or not. So I'm gonna create this state right here. I'm gonna say const has liked equals with oops, my bad. I'm gonna say this is gonna be use state. So I'm gonna say has liked and set has liked. This is gonna be equal with use state of it's gonna be false. It's gonna be false at first. Okay, so let's continue. I'm gonna say here after the like post, if the user has liked, we want to console that log the session that user that UID. So this is to check if the user ID is unique or not. Then it's not really important for now, but I'm just gonna let it for now. So I'm gonna say await to continue, await delete the document. So if the user already liked, we're gonna delete this document with this user ID. Okay, so I think we don't actually need to see it, should be pretty easy to understand. So await delete doc, and then I'm gonna mention the doc, the database, then the posts, after the posts I'm gonna say the ID. After the ID I'm gonna create a place for these likes. So the collection of the likes is gonna be called likes, and then after the likes I'm gonna have the session dot user dot UID and save. Now after this so since we have the DB, the post ID, likes, session dot user dot UID, we're gonna say else. So just outside after these two I'm gonna say else, oops, my bad, here. After I'm gonna say else and curly braces, and inside await set doc. So now if the user did not like, so this is only if the user liked already, but if the user did not like yet, I'm gonna say and clicks, I'm gonna say set doc, then the DB, the posts, the ID, then the likes, and then session dot user dot UID. And for this one we want to add the user's name in this likes collection. So I'm gonna say user name session dot user dot name. This is where we are getting it from. What's the problem here? Username expected got, oh, I forgot what account. Okay, so let's recap this function. useState is not defined. Let's import useState. Where is it? Let's recap this function. So first, this if is gonna check if the user liked. So if this user liked the post, we are gonna delete the like from the database, so it's like an unlike. But if the user did not like and clicked to like the post, we are gonna add the user's username to the database. So after that we are gonna count how many names we have in the likes collection, and we are gonna display it on the screen. So if we save this, let's check if this like functionality works. I'm gonna refresh first, and let's check. I'm gonna click on like doc, it's not defined. Oh, okay, so we have to import all these delete doc, oops, not that one, so this one. Let's import the DB as well. The ID we have is a parameter, session UID. We have to import the set doc, the doc already imported. Let's save and refresh and try again. I'm gonna click on like, session, it's not defined. Oh, we don't have the session imported. I'm gonna go to create new post. Yeah, here. I'm gonna take the session, this one. Then in the post has liked, yeah, here I'm gonna paste this, and then we want to import the use session as well. Where is it? The create post, use session and sign in. I'm gonna go to the post, I'm gonna paste this in. Let's refresh now and try to see if the likes work. Oh my god. So session, let's import the session. Where is it? Oh, I think I'm tired. I imported it into the posts. We have to import it in the post and save. Now the session should be imported. Let's refresh and let's hope this works now. I'm gonna click like, and now let's check the likes. So in the database, first our database, in the storage, no, in the database, okay, now it's reloading, okay. So if we go to this last post, we see we have these likes. So inside these likes we have the user UID and with my username Andrei Barba. So the like functionality works. Now we want this like to be blue when we like. So let's say right here on the like, Control F, comment, let me find the like. So this one, where's the image? Be like. So we either want no, I don't think it's this one. Let me check. Like, oh yes, it's this one. So we have this image of be like, but we want a different one. Let me check. So the likes should be the blue like and the black like. So where are they? At B, from 25 like. Okay, so it's this one, 25 like dot png, and then it's 2 unlike. So these two we have to import. I'm gonna go to the post, and now let's import them at the top right here. I'm gonna say import blue like from / assets / 25 like dot png and save. And the next one should be the black like from to unlike dot png. Let's save this, and now we can play with them right here. So here, instead of the be like, I'm gonna say image, and the source of the image should be either the black one or the blue one. So if has liked is true, I want the blue like .src to show up. Either ternary, this is a ternary, so if not, I want the black like .src to show up. This src, it's because it's a normal image tag, so that's why we have to add it. And let's refresh. Now if you click on like, nothing shows up. Let's see why. We have this showing up and this one showing up as well. So let's check what's the problem. Image.source like, so hi. Okay, so it's the good one, but why it's not showing up? Source has liked. If this is true, we want the blue like .src. If not, what's the problem? So we can't actually attach the has like to this div. We have to actually search in the database and see if when if the user liked or did not like. So for this we have to create another function at the top, and here we are gonna check. So I'm gonna say checking if the user liked already. Nice. Let's say use effect hook. Now I'm gonna say an arrow function, and here I'm gonna say set has like, so here should be liked, and down here at the image has liked. It's true. Okay, so it's okay there. I'm gonna say set has liked, and inside I'm gonna say likes dot find index. So we are searching for the like in the list of the likes. I'm gonna say for each like, if the like dot id it's equal with the session dot user dot uid. So this is gonna be our ID. If it matches, if our ID matches with an ID from the likes of ID in the Firebase. So if our ID matches with the ID from the database, means we already liked this. And find index, it's a function. So this find index, it's going to look after our index. Okay, so session.user.id, if it's not equal with -1, so if it's find it if this will find what likes, it's not defined. So use effect, we have this, we have an arrow function. Oops, my bad, I said set had likes. Oh no, it's okay. So use effect, we have this arrow function, set has liked, likes that find index like that ID session user uid, if it's not equal with -1. So let me check what's the problem. Okay, so we have this find index that it's from React, it's a function from React, and I'm not sure why it's when I hover it doesn't show the description, but if it finds the user ID will give us the user ID, but if not it will return -1. So that's why we've set this function this way. So the last thing to do for the likes to be fully functional, I'm gonna say when the likes update in the database, we want to update the likes in the app as well. Okay, so this is a simple use effect hook, and we want an arrow function, and here I'm gonna say on snapshot, and I'm gonna mention the collection and then after the collection I'm gonna mention the DB, then the post, because inside the post we're looking for this, and ID, then the likes, and then let's say again on snapshot, so snapshot, then an arrow function, and here we want to set the likes to snapshot, so snapshot.docs. Done. So here we're basically saying when somebody likes, we want to send the file to the database, So here we want to set the likes to, this is gonna be stored in the state. So you have to create here a const. So I'm gonna say const likes, and then set likes, and this is gonna be use state. So I'm gonna say use state, and this should be empty at first. And then we want to say const has liked and set has liked equal with use state, and this should be false at oh, we actually created this. My bad. I'm tired. Okay, save, and now we have the likes set up. Now let's check. When we like something, this image shows up, and when we unlike, it disappears. So if we look here as well, we can see when we delete this appears from Firebase as well. When we click login, nice. When we click like. Now if we go to /auth/ oops, let's if we click here, oops, let's refresh this. When we go to /auth/SignIn, and if we log in with another account, I'll choose this one. This is a different account, so that's why we don't have the images. But when we click like, this new user likes the picture as well. Okay, so if we log in with a different account, we get the different like as well. Okay, so you can log in with as many users as you want. So let's go back to my old user because the image is loading. Again, if you wait 2 minutes, the image for every user will show up. This is a problem just in this is a problem only on our localhost 3000. After we post this on Google, this problem will never show up. It's just because we are sending requests from this localhost 3000 that it's not secured, and we get rate limited by Google. Now let's continue. So I think we're done with the like functionality. Let's continue with the comments functionality. So for the comments functionality, we're going to create a state for the comments first. I'm going to say const comments and set comments equals with use state, and then it should be an empty array. I'm going to say const, I'm going to create const comment for a single comment that we use, and then set comment equals with use state, and this should be empty. Okay, now let's continue. We'll have only 2 functions for these comments to work. The first one, let's add it right here. This should only send the comments to the DB, to the database. So let's start. Const send comment equals with async. We'll have an event and an arrow function, curly braces. I'm going to say e.prevent default. So when we type the comment right here and we click on post, the page won't reload. So e.prevent default. Then I'm going to say const comment to send. So this will be the comment that we want to say. So comment. This comment is going to be stored right here. So in this comment. Okay. Then I'm gonna set the comment to nothing, because after we add this to the comment to send, we don't need this comment anymore. Then I'm gonna say await, add document, collection, then the DB, then the posts, same thing, posts, then the ID, then the comments, then outside of this I'm gonna say curly braces, and let's say what we want to send to the database. So as you can see, we have the image of the user, we have the name of the user, we have the comment, and we need the that should be it. We need the timestamp as well, so we can rank them by timestamp, but this should be, so I'm gonna say comment this will be comment to send. Then I'm gonna have the username. It should be session dot user dot name image. Then for the image I'm gonna have session dot user dot image, and then for the timestamp I'm gonna have server timestamp. This is a function, so I'm gonna say save. Now let's import everything. So I'm gonna say event prevent default, add doc, make sure it's imported, collection, the DB, ID it's already, comment to send, session, is the session imported? Yes, and save this. So now send comment, we want to add this to this input. So let's go to the input, Control F, post, on click like post, not here. I love the color, okay, a little bit more here. So on this button I want to say on click we want to post. What is the function called? It's send comment. So send comment and save. Now to set the comment to the to send the comment to the state, so we have the comment stored in the state, we're gonna go to this input where it says write a comment, and this should have the value of comment, and then on change, when we type something different or delete something from the comment, I'm gonna have an event, and I'm gonna say set comment to event dot target dot value, and let's save. And now we have the comment stored in the comment use state. Let's save this and let's try to add a comment. I'm gonna say my first comment. I'm gonna click post, it disappeared. Now if we go here and if we refresh, and if we go to the posts, we have the comments section appeared first time. Perfect. So my first comment, let's add another one and let's see it live on action. Second comment and post, and we have another comment. Perfect. Now let's display the comments. So now that we have them, we can just display them. So we can map through we can map through all of the comments. So to do this, we want to take the comments from the database and store them inside here in the comments use state. So let's create here another function, and the last function, when comments update in the database, update them in the app as well. Okay, so let's this is going to be a use effect. We're going to have an arrow function, and on snapshot we want to query them, so query, and then inside this query, oops, let me make this look better. So inside this query I'm gonna have a collection, and what collection? From the database, and then posts, ID, and then comments, so because we want the comments. Then I'm gonna say comma, and here I'm gonna have them ordered by so I'm gonna say order by timestamp. Okay, so timestamp, so descending, so I'm gonna say descending. Then we want after this one, so I'm gonna say after the this one I'm gonna say comma, and here I'm gonna say on snapshot, not on snapshot, but actually the snapshot, so I'm gonna say snapshot, and then an arrow function, I'm gonna say set comments to the snapshot.docs. Let's save this, and let's add the dependencies as well. So we're gonna have the DB as a dependency, and then I'm gonna have the ID as a dependency as well. Let's import this order by, so I'm gonna say on snapshot it's imported, query imported, collection imported, DB imported, order by imported now. Very well. Now let's console log our comments. So we have this, then on snapshot let's check this function again. Then we have the query, the collection, the DB, post ID, comments. Then we have order by timestamp, description. We have the snapshot, the set comments, snapshot.docs. Oh, I did not add a comma. That's why my computer is on fire. That's what the problem was. Let's save this. And now let's try to console log the comments. So let's see if we have them. Const console.log comments and save. Now if you click inspect, go to the console, we have this going forever. So let's see. Okay, so here when likes update, I don't think we've added the dependencies. So I'm gonna say an empty array and save. Now let's refresh. Oh, and again let's check. Okay, here we did not added the dependencies as well, so this is gonna be an empty array. Let's refresh again. Okay, so there is one more, I think. Let's see. We have it here, or is it? No, I don't think it's. Okay, so these are the posts without a comment, I think. Let me go to Firebase and let's delete all posts and create them again. So I'm gonna delete this connection, posts, delete, and let's create a new post. I'm gonna say first post, choose an image, post, loading. Now we see in action our app. Let's add another one. So first let's add a comment. I'm gonna say my new comment and post. And now let's check this on Firebase. I'm gonna click reload. We have the posts, we have the comments as well, and we have our comment. Is this I was looking if the use effect it's running forever, but I don't think so. Let me check. No, it's not. Okay, so this is coming from the post. Let's say Control F and console.log. Okay, so here we have the comments. Let me delete this, because as you can see we have the comments right here in the document, in the data, value, map value, fields, and this is the comment with the caption, image, profile image, and timestamp. Perfect. Now let's add another one. I'm gonna say second comment and post this. Now let's see, I think it's the last one, or is it? Maybe the second one. Let me add again, so I'm gonna say third one, click post. Let's check this on Firebase. So we have the 3 comments. Now let's refresh this. And in the metadata, in the documents, in the data, value, map value, fields, and here we have the caption. So the first one, only the first one. Let me check why. So comments, we should have the value of everything, so length 0. Why is that? Okay, so let's try first. Let's delete this console log and save, and let's try to go to the post, and instead of this thing, we're gonna instead of these comments, we're gonna map through our comments. Okay, so here I'm gonna copy this, and where the comments section starts, comment section right here, first comment, this is the first comment, and then the second one. We're gonna delete the second one, save, and now for this first comment, we're gonna map through the comments, so comments.map, and for each comment we want this div to show up. So the div with 1 comment, and save this, and I'm gonna say first one, click post. Okay, so we have a problem with the comments. So if we click inspect and go to the console, let's see. So let's check the functions at the top. Okay, so we have this curly braces, these braces, and now let's try again to refresh this. And save, and now let's try to console log the comments. So I'm gonna go to comments, console.log comments, and save. Now they're empty. Well, this was the end of the 3rd video. In the next one, we are going to finish building the backend of our app and deploy it to Vercel. If you are stuck or need help with a project, feel free to book a study session with me on Fiverr, link in the description. Otherwise, join my Discord channel to become part of our community. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.